everybody, welcome to a reading vlog. I will be reading 3 books in this video. I was looking through my Kindle actually and all the books that I had on my Kindle, and I was like, what books do I have downloaded on here that I also have on my physical TBR? That way I can get books off of my Kindle TBR and my physical TBR at the same time. So I had these 3 books, and I'm going to show you guys my little Kindle charm that I bought at my vendor show over the weekend. Got dragons on it. It says, hello, I'm probably reading fantasy. Perfect. It's funny because these kind of go together, and it's also funny because we have Gideon the ninth house, and then the second Death of Locke. So I just feel like everything is meshing together very well for this reading vlog. This is a long time coming because ninth house has been on my TBR for I think about 2 years now, if not more than 2 years. So we definitely need to read this, and it's finally happening. I will read Gideon the ninth the first. Next we will read ninth house, and then lastly we will finish with the second Death of Locke. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will catch you guys when I have my update. I have good news and I have bad news as well. I'll start with the bad news because that's what I have to talk about first anyway. I did end up DNFing Gideon the ninth. I think the main thing about it was the writing style. It was not clicking with my brain at all, and sometimes it happens. The way that I was reading it, it felt like I was reading one long run-on sentence, which wasn't the case at all. The writing was probably fine, but just the way that my brain was taking it in, I felt like I was rushing through the words. I tried so hard to slow myself down and just to take in what I was reading, but I couldn't. My eyes were moving so fast. The way that it was written, I don't know how to describe it without saying that it's just like the way that my brain was taking the words in, but I could not do the writing. And I didn't love Gideon's humor. There were many remarks that she made that was comical, but I just didn't find them funny. It just didn't fit with my humor. So I didn't really feel for the characters and the main character, and I hate it because I really thought I was going to like this book, and I thought it was going to be one of my favorite series, or just a series that I did really enjoy, and that wasn't the case, and I was so sad. But I was just under 200 pages in. I had already been reading it for over a week, and I never wanted to pick that book up. Well, I was eager to get into it, but then once I started reading and I got a few chapters in, I just didn't care for it, and I didn't feel like picking the book up. I didn't feel like I wanted to read it, and I just didn't care for where the story was going to go. There were a lot of the same scenes. I felt like they were kind of fighting with each other, like the characters were kind of fighting with each other, and I honestly don't really know what we were getting into yet. I didn't really know what to expect from the rest of the book. I know that Gideon and Harrow had their little feud, and I know that it's their romance eventually in the series, so I know where that part is going, but just with the world and the concept of the story, I didn't feel anything, and I didn't retain any information on that, and I just didn't feel like there was enough in there for me to be gripped by the story and to want to learn more about that, or to be patient enough to learn about that. And I know that maybe the story in the series gets better as you go on to the other books, but I'm someone who, if it's not good from the beginning, I don't want to waste my time on it, and I'm that way with TV shows too. Like, I hear so many people talk about The Office, and it's like, oh, The Office gets so good after the first season. I'm like, I'm not gonna skip an entire season because it should have been good from the beginning. Like, that's my opinion on things like that. I just feel like I should want to watch something from the beginning, or I should want to read something from the very beginning, and it should interest me from that point on, or at least like 50 pages into a book. I understand the setup and the build up, but I was almost 200 pages into Gideon the ninth, and I still didn't feel like I was gonna care for it ever. So it's very unfortunate it happens, but I didn't want to spend any more time on that book. I had to do it. I was reading the other night, and I read one chapter, I think I was in the middle of a chapter. I had to DNF it. I knew I had to make that decision, and I really didn't want to, but can't waste my time on reading books that just aren't interesting me. So with that being said, I did pick up ninth house the same night, and I read like the prologue of that. I don't remember if I read the prologue in the first chapter. I think it was just the prologue, honestly. And it's so crazy the difference between just some authors' writing styles, because Ninth House, literally reading like the first 4 pages, I was already so interested in that book, but I had to go to bed because it was really late. I do have it with me, actually. And so this is what I am currently reading right now. I have my annotations in here. I'm loving this. This is the good news, is that I feel like this is probably going to be a 5-star. I'm on page 147, chapter 9. This is the perfect vibe for this video and the perfect vibe for what I want right now. It's very dark academia. There's secret societies. There's ghosts in here and a little bit of paranormal stuff. It just feels very dark. It's set on the campus of Yale. You're getting a lot of history back then too, with the secret societies in these different houses. I believe what are they called? Hold on. There's like the the houses of the Veil. So there's lore and history on that, which is very interesting. You get a little bit of that through the story so far, because we're in the present timeline, which right now we're in the season of winter, and then we also get the past timeline of the previous fall. It's kind of the same thing happening in each timeline. There is a murder happening, and the past timeline is actually very interesting. I just found out information that I had to underline, and I was like, okay, whoa. But I still don't know exactly what happened with the past, because in the way that this is set up, in a lot of cases with a past present timeline, you get the mystery of the past in the present timeline, if that makes sense. And in the past chapters, you find a little bit more information on what happened back then, and then it's just a build up, and it makes it very interesting to read through. So basically the concept of this is that we have Alex Stern, and she was brought to Yale, which she really doesn't belong there. She's not necessarily somebody who excels in education, like writing essays and papers and stuff. She doesn't feel smart, and she knows she doesn't really belong at Yale, but she does see some ghost, and that is kind of why she's there, because there's all the secret society stuff going on, like sacrifices being made, and she sees the ghosts, and the ghosts are around there, and she's trying to keep them out of these places. There's one character in here that has kind of been keeping their eye on her for a while before she was brought to this campus, because she has always seen these ghosts, and people from her past, like her mother, they were saying she was crazy. She gets very frustrated because nobody else believes her. She can't tell anybody because nobody else is going to believe her. So I'm loving that there's like fantasy and mystery mixed in with each other. I am noticing that that's one of my new favorite things. If you guys have any more book recommendations on like a dark academia fantasy mystery setting, please let me know. Babel by R.F. Kuang, I really enjoyed that because it was fantasy, but it was also kind of mysterious, and it was an academic setting. So I don't know, I'm loving this so far. I'm very excited to read more of this. I'm gonna go home and read more tonight. I look a mess because I just got done at the gym. Yeah, I just wanted to update before I get further into Ninth House, because I do feel like it's gonna be a book that I want to read. I almost said blarge. I was going to say big. I didn't know if I want to say big or large. So blarge came out almost. So I kind of want to read large chunks of this book at a time, I think. So I'm going to go home and shower and get ready for bed, and then read some Ninth House. And I'm stoked to read Ninth House because it's just, the vibes are there, and I'm feeling it, and I am just questioning everything that's happening. I want to know what happens. I want to know what happened with this one character, because they're gone right now, and we don't even know if they're alive. We don't know what happened. And it's a character that Alex is very close with, or that she's grown sort of a bond to, and I need to know. I forgot to mention when I started reading Ninth House that one of the reasons why I put this off for quite some time was because I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy and the Six of Crows duology by this author, and I didn't enjoy them. They weren't something that I really felt for, and that was rough for me because a lot of people just rave about those series, especially the Six of Crows duology, but I wasn't a fan of them. I was nervous to get into this because I really wanted to like this book because I was very interested in the concept and the plot line. I'm very happy that I am loving this, and I kind of forgot that she was also the author of Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows, because this feels so different. The Shadow and Bone trilogy, I felt like that series was rushed and there wasn't enough plot in there for me. And then Six of Crows was pretty much the opposite. It seemed extremely slow, and I just felt like there was a lot that was thrown in there that didn't need to be in there. But I am loving Ninth House, so that is a plus. I didn't read too much over the past couple of days since I last talked to you. It is now Tuesday. I want to get this video up by Saturday, so I definitely want to read. I don't know if I can finish this today, but I still have to read the second half of Locke after this, so we'll see how it goes. But I am determined to finish these books and edit this video and upload it on Saturday. But yeah, I love this. I love that there's so many connections. I feel like a lot of the mysteries that we're getting, because there's different aspects of this whole underlying mystery, and I think it's all going to be connected in the end in some way with the magic in this world and these secret societies. There's definitely something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about yet. But the more I read, the more I find out and the more mystery there is. So the mystery has been building up throughout the story. We haven't really gotten to a place where we're starting to solve it yet, so I'm wondering when that point is going to start. I'm almost on page 200, guys. I did not read a lot after I talked to you, and I definitely thought I was going to, but it just gets to the point where I come home at night, like after I get my work done, go to the gym, and then it's like after 10 o'clock, and I don't have too much time to read at that point. I've been having a hard time focusing on my books lately as well. I only finished one book so far in July, because I DNF'd getting in the 9th. Not having the best reading month this year. Or this month. See, what is going on? I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to see me, but I wanted to give my final updates on Ninth House because I finished it last night. 5 stars. I knew it was going to be 5 stars. I just loved the vibe of it and the mystery mixed with fantasy. It was just funny because Alex is known to not be someone who excels in school and with grades and everything and like writing papers, all that good stuff. But she is really good at manipulating people in order to get what she wants. So everything that she is doing in Yale and her purpose and trying to figure out where these murders are happening and why they're happening and who's doing it and all the backstory behind them, she's really good at that. And I really enjoyed her as a main character. I think she was very strong, fully focused on what she needed to do. She wasn't going to give up. And there was another character in here who was a police officer and, sorry, I think there's an ant like carrying a dead bug. Anyway, there was her and a police officer, and they had a lot of scenes together because they were working on this case together, technically. They grew closer while this case was happening, and their interactions and everything that was going on between them was so fun to me. I really enjoyed their dynamic. I know I kind of compared it to Babel earlier, but it's definitely more of like Catabasis, and I would say like Catabasis by R.F. Kuang mixed with If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I do plan on starting the second book hopefully soon because I really want to see what happens. I think it's going to be very fun to read about what they're about to get into in the second book. So yeah, 5 stars. Love it, highly recommend. I'm sad that I waited this long to read this book because I liked it so much, but I always wonder if I read it back when I first got it, if I would have felt the same way, so I think I read it at the right time. With that being said, I did start the second death of Locke yesterday. It is currently Thursday. I'm going to read as much as I possibly can today. This is moving pretty fast for me. I'm already 27% of the way through. I'm on page 115. I think it's like 460 pages. This one so far we have like a mage and a well. And the mage is the male main character. His name is Kier, and then we have Gray, who is our female main character. They have this bond with each other. They've known oh, there's a bug on my finger. They've known each other for a very long time. They've known each other since childhood. They have a very, very strong connection, and I love them so far. I'm assuming there's going to be like the romance between them, but it is forbidden right now because if you are a well and a mage and you are paired up together, you can't have a romance with each other. It can't be any more of a bond than friendship. They're all over each other, okay? And they just need to do something, because literally the first few chapters, I was like, there's so much tension already that I just need them to, they need to just get over it. But obviously it's forbidden, so they're trying not to. So yeah, anyway, there's this island called Locke, which I didn't know that Locke was going to be an island. I thought it was going to be a character. But this island just disappeared, and the heir to the island, like the whole family and the royalty, the nobles, whatever, that were on this island are completely gone. So we're learning about that and what that entails. But I just got to the juicy part and finding out kind of what that is. I think this is the book where people were saying that if you read the back of the book, like the synopsis, it is a spoiler. So I didn't read the back of the book. All I know going into this is that it's the whole mage and knight type situation thing between the male main character and the female main character. And then other than that, I don't know. I just know that it's a romance, I think. But I think what I just found out is probably what's on the back of the book. And I would say, if you have not read the back of the book yet, don't read it before you go into it if you plan to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that should have been on the back of the book, but it did happen early on in the book, so I understand why. It didn't shock me too much. I think because it happened so early on. That's all I really have right now. I am enjoying it so far. I don't think it's going to be anything too intense, and quite a bit of traveling, maybe. I don't know. We'll see once they get to their destination, because they are traveling right now. They just started a journey. I definitely have to finish this tomorrow, maybe. I am trying so hard to stay awake. So I don't know why I'm so tired. Well, hello. Let me pull out my notes. I'm about to rant. I am about to rant. I got a whole bunch of notes here. Hold on, my septum piercing's not even in my middle. It's not even anywhere near where it needs to be. I'm about to go to another market, which is why I'm in my car. I just stopped and got food on the way, and then I'm about to head up there and set up, and I'm kind of dreading it, but it's whatever. So, I finished Second of the Lock while I was getting the last minute preparations done for my market, and I was listening to it on audio, because honestly, I knew it was going to take me a while to get through the rest of it, reading it on my Kindle or physically, whatever. I think when I ended where I was reading on my Kindle, the audiobook, it said there was 6.5 hours left, and then I had it on 2 times speed, so didn't take too much. But I was laying in bed last night listening to the audiobook while I was playing a game on my phone, and then this morning I had about 2 hours left of it. You guys know my thoughts on the first half of the book. I will say that the second half, once I started listening to the audio, it did pick up a little bit, but then I'm also thinking that it was maybe because I was just listening to it. I really liked the narrator though. Her accent was so cool, and I think she did a really good job, but I still just didn't love this story like I thought I was going to. It was a very, I don't want to call it a basic fantasy novel, but it followed the guidelines of pretty much every fantasy novel that you read that aren't crazy unique, and I just feel like it needed another addition to it to make it stand out from the other ones that I have read before. If I had read this one before those ones, maybe I would have liked it a little more, but I just felt like it was very redundant. We were reading the same scenes over and over, which is what happened with Gideon the Ninth. It's just that situation where there's too many of the same things happening. There's too many of the same scenes, just in a different setting, or there's different dialogue, and I don't love that. And I also realized when I was reading Ninth House that I think I like books, as long as the plot is captivating to me, I think I like books with less dialogue. Because Ninth House, obviously it has dialogue in it, and characters are talking, but there were a lot of chunky paragraphs in there with a lot of explanation, and I loved it because there was also great quotes in there as well. So I love the writing style of Ninth House. And once I got to the Second Death of Locke, there were some pages where it was quite a bit of dialogue. That's when it solidified for me that I think I'd like less dialogue in books, which I've never thought about that before. So that was an interesting discovery. So let me just get into the Second Death of Locke and what was sending me, because despite it, I feel like it could have gone more in depth with the plot and characters and the world building and everything. But what got me the most, so I will say, okay, before I get into the romance part of this book, everything else was fine. It wasn't anything that stood out to me, but I didn't hate it. So I ended up giving this book a 2.75. If the romance was fine, it would have been probably a 3.5. Oh wait, also let me say this before I get into that. I said for a standalone, the pacing needed to be a lot faster. I was 50% of the way through. I'm 200 some pages into this book, and I was like, if this is a standalone, this is crazy, because I don't feel like there's enough to the story in this world and what these characters need to do to wrap up in 200 pages. The pacing was weird to me, and I felt like we just spent too many scenes on them tending to each other's wounds that I just was bored, and I felt like I needed more. I've said before when I was talking about this when I first started it that They have known each other for their whole lives, and they've been very close. They have this very strong bond, despite them having the bond between them being like a mage and a well. They have the strong bond for like their families and just them growing up together and being there for each other. They have feelings for each other. It's very obvious. They are constantly, like, she's sitting on his lap, he's kissing her hand, she's running her fingers through his hair, he's all up kissing her forehead and stuff. They're very touchy. They've seen each other naked I don't know how many times, and it's like nothing sexual, but okay, like, you guys, be honest with yourselves. If you don't want any spoilers for what they say when they're letting the romance out, then skip the rest of this video, I guess, because you know all my ratings for the rest of the book. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about, but I have to quote this because this is what was just driving me insane. He said, 6 years, he's been trying to get her to see him as more than her mage. And then the next line, guys, the next line was, she cannot believe this. What do you mean you can't believe this? You're the one, like, and then to continue that, she says, why didn't you tell me? And then he goes, you never kiss back. Dude, she's sitting on your lap how many times? How many times did she sit on his lap in this book? Just for funsies? Like, what? What? She goes, you don't hate me? Girl, I swear, if I could, like, go through the pages of a book and punch somebody, I would. I'd knock some sense into this woman because... What do you mean? I don't like talking about anything like crazy personal about me, but I just, you know, this book is bringing up a lot of my past history, doing things and basically showing all this affection and this intimacy and this intimacy. There we go. It's hot in here. I have my air off so I can like have decent audio maybe. I just sweat and I think I lose my mind. I'm also heated because of this book. I feel like this is the only experience I have actually, is to just have that type of connection with somebody and like nothing is said about it and you don't know what it is, like no feelings are said, and it's really, really frustrating. So I think that's also why I hated the romance, because I just know I know what this feels like, but obviously like they actually do like each other and I was just being messed with the whole entire time. So, you know, it is what it is, but I think that's why it was driving me crazy so much. That's all I have to say about this. So second of the lock, 2.75 stars. Getting the ninth was a DNF. Ninth house was a 5-star. So I guess out of all this, I'm so glad that I found ninth house because it's now one of my new favorite books, and I'm so excited to read Hellbent and then Deadbeat when it comes out. I think that's what it's called. I know when I love a book because as soon as I finished ninth house, I wanted to reread it already, and I wanted to go into the second one, but I was like, I kind of want to reread this and see if I can catch on to anything, which I feel like I did catch on to the foreshadowing in that book a lot. So yeah, that is my dark and moody reading vlog. I'm gonna go. I have to set up for my market. I will see you guys in my next video, whatever that may be. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you guys don't hate me for DNFing Gideon the Ninth. I'm sorry. I know everybody loves that book and I hate that I didn't. I hope you have a great day or a great night wherever you are, and I'll see you later. Bye.